Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our class. This is English Seminar Conversation number 2. And number 1, I'm mistaken. Number 2 is on the next semester. And we're going to start with this class. We're going to keep talking about conversation strategies and, of course, a way to communicate. And today is a very special way of communication, especially when we're talking about professional communication. So many times you have been taught that you have to present information through an audience, that you have to talk to an audience about some product, especially when you took that class about marketing. On that class, you were supposed to present your product to a special audience. And in terms of that, we're going to talk about using elevator pitches today. So that's when it becomes very interesting. Let's go to the topic and see what an elevator pitch is. So I'm going to go and take you there. I have a set of slides to share with you so you can make use of them. These slides already are published through your Canvas session, but we're going to go through them and we're going to try to solve your doubts, those doubts that are going to become right now, since this is a different topic from your typical conversation class. So right now we're going to talk about elevator pitch. And let me clear some things right now. If you're taking a look at that first image that you see on the right side corner on the slide, you're watching a picture, a baseball pitcher. So this is a common way of using this word. We are right now using the word of pitching, pitch. So normally, you will use this word when you want to deliver something. And usually it's used, and this example, for a baseball pitcher. But this time, we are not talking about any sport. We're talking about something else. Also, I'm using another image over here. It's more to the center, where you can see two people, one next to each other. And you can see that they have entered to an elevator and they are moving from some level to another level. And yeah, literally, that's not what elevator pitch means. But we're putting into the context these two words. We're putting into the context that word of elevator as from a building, that you need to use an elevator, especially for tall buildings. It will be very hard if you have like 10, 12 different floors or levels, and that you have to go just by the stairs. So you take the elevator. The elevator will take you there in a fastest and easiest way. Whereas if you take just the stairs, well, just imagine 10 different levels or 10 different floors. It will take you a lot of time and a lot of effort to go from level 1 to level 10. Then, what does exactly an elevator pitch mean? If we're talking about conversation. Yes, Cecilia?
Say to Gijón if she accepts.
Okay, so she's trying to get in. Okay, let me see. There you go. Thank you, Ceci. She will get in right now. All right, so elevator pitch. An elevator and a pitch. So we're trying to deliver some information. That's what it means. But it actually means delivering information in the best way but not just the best way, the best possible way. And this needs to be in a fastest and simplest and easiest way. So let's see. Let's go and start seeing what an elevator pitch actually means. And yes, keep in mind this type of image that we have over here, where you have two or more people that are going to have a conversation, and they're going to use some sort of elevator pitch, which is going to be like a mode of speaking. And I want to add, I personally want to add something over here. It's a way of selling an idea. But not just any way of selling an idea. The best possible way. The best possible way to communicate your idea or message, if you remember what our class from last week was about, when we call about the messenger, the receiver, the process in between, okay? So elevator pitch is referred to this type of process, communicating, but I'm promising a lot, I know, but in a very nice way. So let's go and see. I'm gonna move from this slide to the next one. Let's move on. Then to understand what an actual elevator pitch means, we could answer 6 different questions. I added them here so you can watch them and read them at the same time as I'm reading them. Let's see, and let's go one by one and trying to explain one by one so we can understand, sort of like step by step, what an elevator pitch means. So let's see the first one. Number 1, when we're talking about developing a product, that's why I got you to think like if you are in your marketing class. I don't know if you remember when you took your marketing class. That was last semester, right? I think that happened last semester for you. On that class, you were so focused on developing a new product and trying to sell it to someone. Then to understand an elevator pitch, we need to put our minds into that kind of set. And then we're going to understand how to communicate that easy an idea. So let's see. But wait, it might not be that easy. It needs a lot of practice and a lot of preparation. But once you do that, you can communicate the best possible way there is. We're going to see some examples later on. Okay, so number 1, it's first question. What is your product or service or a project? What is it about? Then you should briefly be able to describe what is it that you're selling or what is that idea that you are trying to tell your audience that it might be the best thing in the world or in the galaxy, in the universe. You need to convince all of your audience that that's the best. But to be able to convince an audience, you are the first one who needs to understand. In your brain, in your mind, you do need to understand very well all of it about your project, your idea, your service, whatever it is that you're trying to communicate to your audience. And I'm using these words right here, selling the idea. So putting yourself into that set of mind that you are selling an idea, that's what we need. Now, first, you do understand really good what is about your product, service or idea, etc. Then once you understand that, there is another question. Who is your market? Meaning of your audience. Who is the people that you're going to deliver that information? Who are they? You need to understand that it's different the way that you speak. And we have talked about this forever. When you were in elementary school, you were able to speak with the same level of people, and then you started orally presenting ideas, not the best way, but you started doing it. Then you moved up towards middle school, and then yeah, your audience changed a little bit. But once you started speaking to an audience when you were in high school, then people started telling you, hey, it's not the same if you speak to your peers, I mean, to your classmates, than if you speak to older people than you, than if you speak to people younger than you, than if you speak to people that is more educated than you or less educated than you are. Because you need to understand the needs of your audience, right? Then you started university, and then we kept on telling you, hey, remember about your audience. You need to know your audience. And then if you have had the opportunity to speak to an audience different than your classmates outside school, then you have gotten, or you gain more experience about this, and your audience was different. For example, let me just remind you, about a year ago, less than a year ago, almost, that happened in December, we had a presentation from Alejandra Gomez, your classmate, and it was a very different topic than what she used to present in class, and she had to base, for her social service, she had to base her ideas on their information. I remember that was from CONAM. Then she had to be presenting that information not just to us, but to different types of audiences, right? So it's not the same if you're speaking to little children as if you're speaking to middle school students, as if you're speaking to high school students, as if you're speaking to university students, or as if you're speaking to young adults, as if you're speaking to seniors. It's not the same. You need to adjust. That's why this question, if you want to deliver a very good presentation, a very good oral presentation, oral, when you're speaking, oral presentation to a target audience, you need to understand your audience before you start. Then that's why we made these questions. Who is that people that you are selling that information, that product, that service, whatever it is? What industry is it? Because again, it's not the same if you're trying to sell some paper to the education industry, which is called an industry, or it's not the same as if you're trying to say this same type of paper to a food industry. It's not the same. It's the same product, but it should have a different approach. That's why we need to ask these questions. The approach comes different depending on the audience. We also ask ourselves, how large of a market do they represent? Are they managers of different companies? Are they on the same level as you are in terms of job positions? Are they just from one company, but from different departments? You need to ask all of those sort of questions. Remember, we're talking here about professionally speaking, and you need to remember all of this. Number 3, if we go to next question, it is, what is your revenue model? Are you going to earn something from that? Is it really going to be some revenue? Or what problem does your project solve? Well, a more simple question, how do you expect to make money? As simple as that. You need to present, if we are talking about a product, remember that you are selling the product. Then you also need to consider all of your calculations about costs. And I do remember that you had a class about a year ago when you were in the 5th semester that is called Finances and Costs. So you already know how to do this. Number 4, who is behind the company or project? Who is working with you and who is working with your audience? Those sort of things are very, very important. Number 5, who is your competition? You need to remember that. Remember this term. You started talking about this term when you were in your 3rd semester, when you study business administration or business management, or yeah, like that, or quality management. In those classes on your 3rd semester, you learn about this term. And then you talk about this term later on your other courses. So you need to be very familiar with that. You need to know your competition. There is always competition. All of the time, especially if you're trying to develop a new product and then sell that new product. It's not that easy, but you can do it if you know your audience. So talking about elevator pitch, it's so much related to knowing your audience. The most as you can. You need to investigate about your audience. And number 6, last but not least, what is your competitive advantage? You should have advantages. And you need to put those into your elevator pitch. So what we're gonna do is about planning or designing a presentation, an oral presentation. But ultimately, all of that planning, we put it into work and we deliver the information. Therefore, we're talking about elevator pitch as a way to deliver the information to your audience. But it's a different way. It's the best way. Because you need them to buy your information. They have to love what you're going to say. And that's what makes a difference. So let's try and see. We're going to go to the next slide and we're going to go and see a few examples. I have 2 different examples on this, and you're going to see the first one, which is about, it's from a movie. It's just 2 minutes, an extraction from the movie. The movie is called The Dilemma. This movie came out in 2011, and it summarizes probably everything at the best and shows how you can build a very convincing story in only 2 minutes. Trust me on this. You are going to like it. I'm just saying, it's very simple. The recommendation most of the time is like, okay, you have to do it short. You have to deliver when you're talking about an elevator pitch. You have to do it like in 30 seconds. But 2, 3, 4 minutes still is okay. As long as you prepare, practice, and you can sell the information. So with all of those 6 points that we reviewed, the 6 questions that we checked over here, what is your product or service? Who is your market? What is your revenue model? Who is behind the company? Who is your competition? What is your competitive advantage? Let's see an example. I have the link over here. We're gonna go and see, I'm gonna share the link through this Zoom and you're gonna go and watch that video, because if I share it just here, you're not going to be able to follow it through. So just gonna copy the link, put it here into the chat for everyone. And we all are going to take those 2 minutes. We're gonna go and click on that link that you see on the chat, and we're gonna go and see an example. Okay? All right, let's then continue. So what you watched was a very good example of an elevator pitch. Let me ask you some questions. What you saw, not the language, not the speaking of the language, but the other type of language that is not direct, but it is there. What type of audience was there? Was it an easy audience? Was it a simple audience? Or was it like some professional and very tough directors of, and this type, they were talking about Dutch company. What type of audience did you see over there?
I see a type of audience very tough and professional.
Yes, very tough and professional. That's true. That's true. How do you identify that type of audience?
Because her faces, language, body language too.
Yes, they are more stiff, like they're sitting straight, right? They are projecting power. Even if you're not speaking, the way that you sit and the way that you look, you can project. Very good, Sarai. Thank you. So very tough, professional audience. What about the speakers? There were 2 speakers. How did they present the idea? And we're not talking about the information yet, but how did they express themselves? Did they show that they were nervous? When you look at them at the video,
They show very confidence with himself.
Confidence. They were showing confidence. That's one of the words. Perfect. They seem to know very well the topic that they were speaking, right?
Yes, they were convincing.
Very convincing, Anael. Exactly. They, if you just look at them, at their body expressions, they were speaking so convincing that you want to buy whatever it is that they are selling. But you already know, but we are not talking about the information yet. Like, they were using this, what we call the elevator pitch. So to be able to communicate, they already know that their audience was tough. They knew their product. They knew how to deliver the product. And they started the story with more convincing stories. They even went to the past, and they even mentioned a word that they weren't trying to insult anyone, but they even say about gay community because of a stereotype. So now let's talk about the information. What was that product that they were trying to sell, or what was the idea that they were trying to sell to that audience? Anyone? In general, what was the idea? There was some idea. They were talking about cars. What type of cars were they talking?
They wanted to sell electric motors, but they wanted to sell also the imaging of the product.
Ah, the image was different, right? They started talking about the actual, well, on that time, on 2011, the actual models still. Most of the companies around the world, most of the companies, not all of them, but most of the companies still develop those type of cars. On speaking about electric cars, but we know already about Tesla, for example, and Tesla is one huge example of what they are speaking over there. An electric car with all the muscle and the nice looking of a strong car, and well, it has everything but the price. Okay. What else? They were comparing those cars, the actual ones, with what? Does anyone remember any type of model of the cars that they were comparing?
With the old ones, because was very powerful.
Ah, seriously, that's so true, Sarai. With the old ones and some very special and famous cars. And they had this idea. They didn't mention it like straight to the point at the beginning. They started building the idea and showing, like, and save it to the end, but it was only in 2 minutes. They sold the idea of putting together that look and that strong car with the new idea of electric cars. Very nice, huh? Did you like the way that they were selling the idea?
They were also trying to compare the cars with the appearance that they gave us at sight, like with
Excitement.
cuteness.
The feelings like excitement and oh, you got to a point, Anael. We should be able to appeal to feelings, the feelings that are not just what you feel with your heart, but you feel also with the images, when you remember how it feels, when something soft feels, when something harsh, when something nice feels. Very good point. Some excitement, happiness. You can experience the luxury of a car also in an electrical car. That was the idea, right? So here it is. I show you an example, but with all of those subtitles that you could use. But I want to show you another video that is from the Shark Tank, very famous TV program. And this is a different kind of selling, but I found it that it was really awesome. The way that he explains about his product. So you're gonna see this guy. There's no subtitles here, and they speak fast, but I bet you're going to understand what they're going to do over there. If you don't have the subtitles still, you can understand the English level that they are managing there. I want you to feel it, and I want you to see, to focus with all of your eyes, all of your senses, your eyes, your ears, and the rest of them. Okay, so I'm gonna again share another link over here to the chat. You're gonna go and watch it, and then we're gonna come back. So just give me a few seconds to share that new link. All right, so we're back. And now we watched a very good, very, very good elevator pitch. It was a very short, simple presentation, but in a way that it makes you want to buy whatever he's selling, because he is so delivering the story. And yeah, you kind of feel the sweater that he was wearing, don't you? So tell me about what you thought about this second example. I'm also collecting all the points that you are participating.
It is very innovative.
Okay, you could also take a look at using innovation when you speak. Ah. And it was even some movement, right? Good, Ana Karen. Anyone else wants to share something?
He was relaxing conference.
He was relaxed and confident. Oh, so important, right? He even talked like directly to the buyers, to those sharks. Have you ever watched this type of program, Shark Tank? It's very hard to convince them. The audience over there was very tough. They are like investors. They are very rich people. They invest in really good projects, not just any simple thing. We have a version in Mexico, I believe so. So what is different from just trying to stand in front of an audience and deliver some information? Whereas when you show your confidence, when you deliver in a very short time all of the information, what is different? The difference is called the elevator pitch. Prepare for that. And it's a very nice way to communicate. But good news, this is not just about selling something. It's not just about a product. It should be a way of speaking. When we prepare, when we know our target audience, when we practice, it should be all of the time that we are talking to an audience. We're selling the idea. We need to convince them. They need to understand that the idea, the product, the service, whatever it is that we're selling, they need to buy it. Most of the time it's an idea. Most of the time for us or for your level, it's something that you are investigating and then you're presenting. But you need to consider it in a way that you're going to be selling that idea. Can you do it? Yes. Why not? Everybody can. Like what I'm telling you right now. It's about getting prepared. Remember those 6 questions that we talk about? You need to know your product. You need to know your audience, the size of the audience. Are you making money from it? How much? Maybe it's not money what is related. Maybe it's related also to the information that you're trying to sell. What is it about? Can we use elevator pitches for any type of conversation? Of course. It's about being persuasive in a more innovative way, not just the simplest or the traditional way. It's about moving. It's about getting more ideas. And those ideas should stay with your audience. So I'm going to go back to the traditional slides. I'm going back there. I'm going to share the slides again. Okay, so we were left here. We started taking a look at the examples. We were talking about these ones. Have a strong why. It means people don't buy what. It's all about the why. Try to find the reason why you're speaking. Why do you even care about speaking? Oh, because they're gonna give me a grade into this class. I'm gonna get some good points. Okay, if that's your why, then concentrate in getting the highest point. If you are trying to convince your boyfriend to marry you, well, then you should be concentrated on that. That's your why. I know it's a very different story here, but it's about convincing. It's about thinking more than the audience. This should be aspirational. And you should consider selling this so that your audience will be better. They will be better person or better people by getting your information, by getting your product or your service, whatever it is that you're doing. You should consider about your product, service, idea for the benefits. You should consider the advantages. All of the benefits should be above the disadvantages. You need to understand very well your product. We're going back to the first question that we made. Understand your product. Understand all of it. Have a clear X for Y statement. All of the relationships. X for Y will relate to, yes, what we're used to. Get the equation done. Understand how to solve it. That's so important. For example, everybody knows what Netflix is. You can watch series, movies, a lot of things they put over there, very nice documentaries. And it's the most famous platform for watching movies and series and all of that, all of those things. So that's what you need to consider. I am like them. I'm the best in the world. So this is an example. If you were trying to sell baby clothes, for example, you need to consider that you are the best of the best in the world. Even though you may not be at that same moment, but your state of mind should be considering that. So in other words, you need to switch the way that you're thinking, to switch the way that you're speaking. You need to convince yourself on that information that you are trying to deliver to your audience. That's when you start showing confidence. So we were talking about anxiety last week. Part of that anxiety that we all have when we present some information in front of an audience is because we don't know the audience. We don't know our information the best way it is. And we don't believe that it is the best product in the world. So before we even start speaking, we need to completely change our set of mind, change it, and believe it to be able to deliver it. Tell a story. Did you see the way that these two elevator pitches were presented? The first one started speaking about the relationship between the actual electrical cars that look so silly, that they are not cool. The second one, the second example started with a story about his own family. He told a story about going to the park with his kid. And he's not selling something for his kid. He's selling a sweatshirt that transforms into a backpack. Nice, huh? Hook your listener. After all of that preparation, after having the best story delivered, then you have your audience hooked. They are there to listen to you, and they will listen to you. Because the way that you are delivering the information, it's keeping them interested. So it needs to be prepared. And then take a look at the end of this. The best pitches leave a call to action. What does this mean? Your audience and you, both of you establish a relationship once you finish. They want to keep listening to you. They want to keep talking to you. They want to form a relationship with you. Because you were so good at delivering the information that they want to keep listening to you. Can that happen? Oh, of course. Nothing is impossible. Actually, everything is possible. We have learned that, all of us. Everything is possible. And remember, elevator pitches are short in time. Okay, so let's see. Let's go through some benefits of it. I put them over here on the right side of the slide. The benefit is never the product that you are selling. It's always the effect. Did you take a look at what it says? Okay, let's put our minds over there. And with these two examples, one was trying to sell an idea of putting the electric motor of a simple, of the common electric cars with the very nice, strong muscle car. So they were trying to sell that. And also, the other guy was trying to sell the sweatshirt that converted into a backpack. But there is a word that Anael and also a similar that Sarai mentioned too, in a similar way. What was the word? The feeling. So if you make an effect, you're not talking about just selling a little plastic ball. You're talking about selling the feeling of the product. Can you see? This is a happy face. That's what we're talking about. It's about the effect, the impact that can cause through your audience. That's a very different effect. A feeling that your product could have on the customer, on business. The benefit must be something specifically and directly relevant to the customer's business, ideally with financial metric. Now, if we're going back to the marketing class, let's set our minds over there. Then it's not just about the relevancy for the business, but remember, it's always about the revenue. I don't know if you're familiar with this word, the revenue. Let's just put it into, I'm the professor, I can do this. It will be referred to ganancias o best called the utilidad. That's what we're talking about on the revenue. All right. So it's always part of the benefit. And that's why one of the questions, when we started this class, there were six questions. One of them in the middle told you about, remember, the price, the money. Are you expecting to earn some money? You need to remember that too. Okay, so here it is. It is wrong to think that we sell inventory systems or that we sell inventory control systems that save you money. But it's right if we think in different ways, that manufacturers use our system to reduce their inventory costs by 50%. You see the difference? From here to here, we go and show some numbers. We don't just say that, oh, we're talking about this product. No, this product is going to increase 50% your earnings. Wow. Now I'm interested. Remember the effect. And also, it's very right to say things like this. Companies hire us to streamline their inventory, saving on average $1 million. You're showing off the real you. You're not saying, oh, we save money. We save you money. Okay, yeah, other companies can help me save money too. No, we are going straight and showing the numbers. Remember that we are engineers. We talk about numbers. We talk about real numbers. And we should be able to talk about those real numbers. All right. So think about that in terms of the effect. Okay. And best. And I specifically show this this way of showing it here in red, not just red, red. The differentiator. This is what makes you or your firm, your company, different from everybody else. If you know, again, if you know yourself, if you know your product, if you know what you're doing, what you're working on, when you are presenting it, it makes the difference. Is the best of it. Strong differentiators contain a fact that is concrete and measurable. They should never refer to your emotions, which are irrelevant to the customer or audience. So if we're talking about elevator pitch, we should talk about the differentiator. You need to show yourself as that differentiator. You are what we call in Spanish, el parteaguas. You are the differentiator, the one that is going to change their lives by your ideas, by your products, by your feelings, by your communication. And again, it's wrong to say that things like we are industry leading in best in class. According to whom? You need to give us data. Remember, we're engineers. We can save you money faster than the competition. Says who? Give me the data. Los datos. Show me. We're excited about providing you with the best service. Who cares? Who cares if you're excited? You need to show me something. But it's right to say that we have a patented method that delivers materials the day they are needed. Okay, good. I don't need to have a storage room. I'm just gonna order to you the same day, and you're gonna have them here next to me, even if you are in the Sierra region of Sonora. I'll have the product on your door today. Now we're talking, right? Okay, and it's also right if we're talking about being the differentiator. Our system holds the industry record for the most money saved. Remember when we talked? Tell the numbers and tell the real story. Not just leave it like open. Don't leave it in the open. Our system has all the data of the most money saved. This is just an example, but like I'm telling you, this is the differentiator. Then there's also another importance into the elevator pitch, the ask. Of course, if we're talking about the ask, we're talking about question. So there is a big, huge mistake. The worst mistake you can make in an elevator pitch is trying to close the sale. What? Yeah. Remember this. You need to leave it open so they want to keep talking to you. And you can give more information after your presentation. Because if you try to put everything together into that elevator pitch, you're going to lose it. It's way too soon for that, but you need to put a set of mind into your audience that they want to keep on hearing after they see you. All you want is that first, but all important fact, finding meeting, where you can assess the customer needs and mutually decide whether you can meet those needs. So you're going to set appointments, citas, for later on. You're going to have those appointments and you're going to close the deal after. It would be wrong if we said, oh, okay, here's my card, give me a call if you're interested. Yeah. You should continue after the presentation. You should say, okay, so let's get together and we should run some numbers. What's your availability next week? What's the difference here? If we leave it just open like, here's my card. What if they don't call me? But if I said, hey, let's meet next week. Keep the excitement going on. Keep that feeling of excitement. Hey, let's meet next week for this. Hey, let's see each other next Friday. What about this Friday? What about next Monday? Next Monday? Should we go grab a coffee and keep on discussing this? Don't leave it that open like, oh, just give me a call if you're interested. No, you should convince them. So the elevator pitch should be able to close a second encounter, second time to keep speaking. It's also wrong to say, I can send you a price code. Closing too soon. Whereas we can say, oh, since you're interested, what's the best way to get you on your calendar? Again, we are making them believe that we are meeting again. And that I'll be sending you those prices, the price quote. But I'm not telling you directly, but in a different way, I'm convincing you. Again, it is an innovative way to speak, to deliver the information, and to keep the conversation going. Yes, this is a different way of communicating when you prepare and you practice and you deliver the information. And then you keep on talking because you convince your audience. So big question mark. Are you going to convince them or not? Yes, you are. Let me just tell you that yes. Here is the second invitation. You are not going to see this video right now. There is an open activity on your canvas. This video is longer. This is a video of 18 minutes. 18 minutes in total. It is a resume of that book that says there, Start with the Why by Simon Sinek. I have it in Spanish. And I got this book because it's very interesting to keep talking about this. And for the other class, leadership and professional development, I taught that class last semester. And this is one of the books that we took a look because he is very good at speaking. And his book is really, really good, I'm telling you. So this is a resume, it's a pitch advice. And I made it into a homework. You're gonna watch it and then you're going to discuss this into your own words. You're writing. You're writing the idea of what Simon Sinek is going to tell you over there. It's a TED Talk. You can choose subtitles. It has subtitles. So I will advise that you take the time and watch it with subtitles. Of course, in English, there won't be in Spanish. And understand the most of it and put it into a word. Why will be this an advice? It is a pitch advice. But on his words, he's recommending to start with the why. And again, this is not just for selling a product. This is more about selling your person, yourself. And this will lead you to start moving your abilities, your characteristics of a person, what defines you. And so that's why I chose to lead you to this type of advice. This is from, like I said, from Simon Sinek. So you're gonna watch it through the week and you'll find it out. And like I said, there is homework. It's been open already, started today, and you're gonna have some time for it. One of the homeworks is that you're gonna write an essay about that Simon Sinek's pitch advice from this, the one that you're taking a look at there. And then the other homework, actually you have 3 activities. The third one is a discussion, and you have the week to discuss something about this class. I gave you 2 different readings, and then you can just go read something and start a discussion. But take a look at this. You're going to prepare an elevator pitch. This is the second homework. I'm taking a look at the second one. Prepare an elevator pitch presentation and record it. Oh, you're recording yourself preparing a presentation pitch? Yes, you are. It could be about any project, any product. It could include something that you already work on other classes, something that you already have. You can think about something that you have at home and try to prepare something that you want to sell and make it like sort of like a commercial. That's fine. Whatever you want to do. And you're going to submit a video for this to be graded. But that's not end over there. Then you are going to start. You're submitting this, if I'm not mistaken, in about 2 weeks. I'll give you more time to prepare because this you need to prepare. You need to think about it. You need to know this is your audience. Yes, the whole group is your audience. Well, actually, it's going to be just one. Once you submit it, then a second activity starts. I'm going to open up the way that you are also grading your classmates. O sea, que también ustedes van a calificar ese video de sus compañeros. 1, you're going to grade 1. Everybody's going to grade 1. But at least you're going to see the other videos. And yes, you're going to make an elevator pitch presentation. Let me tell you, I did this exercise last year and it was very successful, very successful, very nice videos. There were a few students that used the TikTok platform to make the short video and into a very cute and nice video. I was surprised, and I was so surprised for the quality of work that your fellow classmates from the other generation, from the other year, they were really good. So I know what you're capable of. I know that you can do a very nice, good job on this. And of course, you can always ask me for advice. I'm here to help you. And since this, you need to think about it a lot. That's why you have about 2 weeks to complete this step. It's not for next week, it's for the other one. But the assignment is already open. Any questions? Ooh, maybe not. So we're good.
Professor, I have a doubt with the homework for this week.
Okay, go ahead.
So in one side of the page is going to be the essay, and from the other side is going to be the example.
Oh, no. Okay, I understand why the confusion. These are different homeworks. Two, and actually there are 3 different homeworks, and it's
Yes,
just
but I have that doubt because I don't know how to do that. The
Oh.
homework for
the homework for number 1, for example, for the
Yes.
essay. For the essay, okay.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Let us go to the platform. I'm gonna go and share it over here. So I need to go and get over there. I'm getting there. Week number 2, the essay from Simons and Speech Advice. So it says, and it gives you the link over there too. From the elevator pitch class, you've learned about the reason for presenting an idea in the best possible way. And for that, you have also watched the video describing the why that talks about several examples of successful people and companies who truly know how to lead and will give and receive the best elevator pitches. After you finish watching the video, write a 1-page essay about it. That's it.
Oh, Professor, my question is about the essay from the strategic communicate.
Oh, the from last week. The one that you are submitting this week. Okay, let me see. Let me see. Student view. Student view.
My question is the style of the essay.
The style of the essay, creating a communication strategy. This actually a freestyle. The difference here is
style of the page.
Yeah, it's telling you here. Well, 50% will be showing the understanding of the topic. You give the introduction, body, and conclusion. You don't need to have titles for that, but it's the body of any type of report, right? The vocabulary used should be of your level of knowledge. And then creativity and by phrasing an example where you could use communication strategy. Your example should be original. This is the part that is hard for you, right? The second part.
No, my question is, for one side of the page is going to be the essay, and from the other side is going to be the example, or is going to be everything together?
Well, actually, Sarai, that's up to you. You can do it even in the middle or at the end. The example, it's about considering your understanding, not just presenting the information from the readings, but also showing your understanding. So if you want to do it in the second page, that's okay. If you want to do it at the beginning, that's also okay. If you want to do it in the middle as part of the body of your essay, that's also okay. Just remember that when you're writing, you need, for example, when you do this, blah, blah, blah. Or you can present it, of course, at the end, like at the second page. You can say, here is an example of these strategies or one strategy. And one way to present this type of examples, it's something that you have already experienced. Of course, a successful strategy that you have used. An example that relates to your own experience is easier to write than trying to understand something different. Try to think about it when you're writing your essay. Try to think about where have you used those strategies or those ideas, and then give the example for that. Maybe it was on a project, maybe it was like what we were speaking today in an oral presentation. Maybe it was at a community as a community service and you were using some strategies there. This is limitless. You can just think of whatever you have experienced in your life that it has worked as for communication strategies and write it down. Yes?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anytime. Okay, so going back to this, I believe that we have finished. Let me just go back to this one. I'm sharing yes, we finished with the presentation. It's over. Good. It says, it's telling me here that we finished. So if there are more questions about elevator pitch, we're going to find that out in these following 2 weeks. We're going to continue speaking about communication strategies, of course. Next week, it's in the same unit. And you have a lot of homework to do. Not actually a lot, but yes. Like I said, there's also a forum for conversation that you're going to go and speak and tell us something about what you just learned this week. And that's it. That's for participating. Yes? If there is no other question, I'm just gonna stop the video and I'm gonna check on the attendance, okay? La lista, el pase lista. Okay, so I'm gonna stop the video